I may be the Pokemon Horizons channel 99% of the time, but every now and then something big happens in the Pokemon anime world outside of Horizons that I need to talk about, and in this case it's because today the Pokemon Company just dropped something that's reignited one of the biggest debates in the entire community, while in my opinion proven wrong so many people about a very important topic: Ash and Ash Greninja. So for context, the Pokemon Company just revealed the brand new Pokemon Deluxe Character Guidebook. It's basically a 30th anniversary collector's guide, celebrating the franchise's history and all of its many Pokemon characters. It includes stuff from the games, the anime, TCG, everything. It's 336 pages long, bruh, that's insane. And it releases on August the 25th this year. This is an official Pokemon product. It's not like those trashy, unofficial, probably illegal Pokemon guidebooks you see in random stores. Everything in this would have been fully decided and fully approved by the Pokemon Company, and alongside this book they're also releasing a premium collector's box set collection, which comes with a bunch of bonus items too. That includes a certificate of authenticity, a deluxe box, video game prints, a TCG playmat, but most importantly to this video, it includes 2 collectible prints from the Pokemon anime. Now the first one is one that we all knew would be there, Ash becoming the world champion at long last with his Pokemon Journeys team. I mean, this one was obvious, right? This is the defining picture of Ash, the culmination of his entire anime. It broke the internet when it happened a few years ago as the perfect representation of his character. Of course it would be included, but oh my god dude, the second print they chose? So just to drill it in even more, they could have chosen absolutely any image in the entire Pokemon anime for the second print. There's over 1,350 episodes in the anime, it's been running for 30 years, there's absolutely endless iconic characters, iconic scenes, iconic moments to choose from. They could have even chosen one of Liko and Roy to promote Pokemon Horizons. But instead of any of that, they chose the second collectible image in this box set to be Ash and Ash Greninja. Dude, that is insane! Not only is it absurdly cool for Greninja fans and X, Y, and Z fans to finally see him acknowledged again, but it's also significant beyond words can describe for one huge reason. You see, for years now, one of the biggest debates in the entire fanbase is whether or not Ash Greninja has been retconned out of existence entirely. And to be fair, I do understand why that debate started. In Pokémon Journeys, the flashbacks to X, Y, and Z awkwardly changed Ash Greninja to regular Greninja, and when Greninja returned, while it did use the bond phenomenon, it didn't physically transform into Ash Greninja. Then the Pokémon Scarlet and Violet games came along and changed the battle bond entirely. Instead of transforming Greninja into Ash Greninja physically, it just gives stat boosts now. So naturally, a lot of people started saying, wow, they're totally erasing Ash Greninja from history. They're trying to completely remove it to retcon it like it never existed. But personally, I've never agreed with that interpretation at all. I think Ash Greninja was removed from Scarlet and Violet as a gameplay development decision, not as a creative decision of regretting the form. After all, Pokemon wouldn't have created that exclusive form and brought it into the games, even into Smash Bros, if they knew they'd regret it and want to retcon it later on. So like I said, I think Ash Greninja was removed from a developmental viewpoint, specifically because of how it would interact with terrestrialization in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Terrestrialization already fundamentally changes how Pokemon battles function mechanically. It's already a transformation akin to Mega Evolution or the Bond phenomenon. Trying to also implement a unique anime exclusive transformation for one single Pokemon on top of that would have just been unnecessary work, unnecessary complication. It would have made their jobs so much harder, you know? Trying to figure out how to make the Ash Greninja transformation and terrestrialization interact. Not to mention at that point they would have already known that Mega Greninja was in development for the next game too, ZA. So removing Ash Greninja would make it easier to implement terrestrialization, and would make it easier to implement Mega Greninja too. So for that reason, the Pokemon Journeys animators were probably told to avoid showing it in the anime too, so it wouldn't confuse fans about why they couldn't get it in the upcoming games. That makes complete sense. We know there's tons of active communication between all the different departments in the Pokemon franchise, so I really don't think Ash Greninja was retconned or erased from history. I just think they temporarily retired it to not make development more difficult and to not confuse the fanbase. In addition, the Greninja Return episode in Journeys was already so cram-packed with Lucario stuff, Mega Evolution stuff, Aura stuff. There was so much setup and exposition and explanation already. Adding Ash Greninja on top of that would have just been too much. The focus and attention was meant to be on Lucario and Aura. Ash Greninja's form had no reason to exist, it would have added nothing. I get why they didn't include it, you know? And now this new guidebook releasing is yet another massive piece of evidence proving Ash Greninja is not retconned, because if the Pokemon Company company genuinely wanted to erase Ash Greninja from continuity from history, then why would they keep acknowledging it over and over and over in so many different ways? People forget this, but Ash Greninja has still appeared multiple times after X, Y, and Z ended. It appeared in Smash Bros, it appeared in the Pokémon Journeys manga adaptation, it appeared in the opening theme for Aim to be a Pokémon Master, there's literally artwork resembling Ash Greninja hanging in Nemona's house in Scarlet and Violet, and now we have this, an official anniversary collector's product where Ash Greninja is being used as one of the flagship anime prints, one of the main selling points of this official product. That is not how you treat something you're trying to erase from history. Like, let's be serious for a second here. If the Pokémon Company truly viewed Ash Greninja as some forbidden mistake, some huge thing that they regretted that they wanted to retcon out of history to make everyone forget about, they would not keep referencing it in official media over and over. They would simply choose non-Ash Greninja stuff to show. In the Aim to be a Pokémon Master opening theme, they would have shown a different shot of Greninja not in his Bond phenomenon form. In this guidebook, they would have just chosen a different frame of Ash and Greninja without the Bond phenomenon. They are actively choosing to show Ash Greninja. That is clear proof that it's not retconned whatsoever in my eyes. Ash Greninja is still a thing that happened in the anime continuity. And if I'm totally honest, I really side-eye the people who actively want it to be retconned in the community, because over the years I've noticed a lot of the loudest voices pushing for this retcon idea, they aren't actually pushing it for valid reasons. They're only doing it because they hate X and Y anime fans, or because they hate Ash Greninja conceptually, so they want it to be erased to rub it in those fans' faces. And that mentality has always felt so weird to me, dude. Because Ash Greninja wasn't some tiny irrelevant detail, it was literally one of the central storylines of the entire X and Y saga. It was the emotional core of Ash's character in that series. It had an unfathomably huge impact on the storyline. Retconning something that major would be an absolutely gigantic blow to the continuity of the anime. It would mess up so much. So I genuinely don't understand why anime fans would celebrate a huge retcon like that. It makes no sense to me. Even if you dislike Ash Greninja, even if you dislike the X and Y fans, why would you actively want the anime's continuity to become messier and less coherent? Like, dude, there are tons of anime-exclusive concepts or exaggerations that don't fully exist in the games. Infernape's absurd blaze transformation, Dusklycanrock's rage mode, the portrayal of aura powers, they're all anime-exclusive things that aren't portrayed in the same way in the games. And there's thousands more where that came from. And I guarantee you that if Pokemon suddenly came out tomorrow and tried to retcon any of those things, those same fans would be furious. So why is Ash Greninja any different? Just because you dislike it? Just because you get annoyed by some toxic X and Y fans? I don't know, man, it always felt hypocritical to me. Like, we don't have to personally love every element of the anime. That's normal, everyone has different tastes. But there's a huge difference between I personally dislike this concept and I want this concept erased from existence and removed from continuity forever. I want them to pretend it never existed regardless of how much it messes up the timeline's continuity. Those are very different things, man. Because all retconning major storylines does is disrespect and spit on the fans who love those things. It's not something that should be celebrated. And yeah, clearly judging from this new official guidebook, the Pokemon Company themselves still value Ash Greninja too. Otherwise they wouldn't be putting it front and center in a premium anniversary product celebrating Pokemon's history. They wouldn't have it as a main selling point. So to be honest, I think fans can finally put this debate to rest. Ash Greninja still exists, X, Y, and Z still happened exactly as we saw it, and absolutely none of it got retconned. So let me know your thoughts below. Do you think it finally settles the debate, and will you be buying the new guidebook yourself? I was gonna until I saw the price tag. Yikes, man, that's a lot of money. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and come join our Discord server using the link in the description. I apologise if I sounded a little different or lower energy in this video. Unfortunately, I lost someone in my family really close to me a couple of days ago, so yeah, I'm kind of, struggling and grieving and all that malarkey. I just want to thank all of my incredible channel members on screen right now real quick. You guys are wonderful, and that includes Toten, Giscadia, Not Mini, Hope, Jay, Jackson. And on that note, thank you all so much for watching, and best wishes until we meet again.